"I don't want to stop." Lewis Hamilton said it mid-race to Ferrari. This wasn't just frustration over tyres, it was Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, sending a clear message to the most famous team in Formula One. And now the boss has answered. Fred Vasseur faced the cameras after Austria, and the cracks in Ferrari's system are already showing. Because behind the calm interviews and rehearsed words, one thing is clear. This isn't just about tyres, it's about control. And inside Ferrari, that control is already slipping. What the post-race interviews won't tell you is simple. Ferrari's perfect, polished image is already under pressure. Sure, in front of the cameras they'll talk about race pace, tyre strategies, and how everything is under control. But behind the scenes, it's a different story. Because Lewis Hamilton isn't just another driver slotting into the system. He's a 7-time world champion. A man known for walking into teams and reshaping them completely from the inside out. And in Austria, he didn't just question a pit stop. He challenged the Ferrari command center live over the radio with the whole world listening. But here's the thing. The real drama didn't happen on the team radio. It happened after the checkered flag, behind closed doors, when the cameras were off. Because once you have a driver like Hamilton openly pushing back, it doesn't end with a post-race debrief. It sparks tension. It forces conversations. It makes the leadership scramble to keep things under control, to stop a small disagreement from becoming a full-blown power struggle. And from what's happening behind the scenes, that struggle might already be underway. It all came to a head in Austria, 2025. The Red Bull Ring, a fast, flowing circuit where strategy can make or break your race. By lap 22, Lewis Hamilton was sitting in 4th place on the hard tyres, comfortable, steady, managing tyre wear just as he's done hundreds of times before. The car was handling well, the data on the screens looked good, and most importantly, Hamilton could feel it. The tyres had life left in them. That's when he came over the radio. "My tyres feel good, I want to extend." A clear message, a champion trusting his instincts. But back on the Ferrari pit wall, it was business as usual. Riccardo Adami, the strategist, cool as ever, replied, "Box this lap. Standard plan. No hesitation, no discussion, just the protocol." But Lewis wasn't convinced. "I don't want to stop," he pushed back. You could hear the frustration, not aggressive, but sharp enough to know he meant it. Yet the call stayed firm. Hamilton boxed, fresh tyres on, rejoined the race. He crossed the line in 4th, the same position he had before. On paper, everything looked fine. Standard strategy executed. Another race, another solid finish. But behind the scenes, you could feel the tension rising. This wasn't just about tyres anymore, but this wasn't some rookie questioning a race plan. This was Lewis Hamilton, a driver with more than 330 Grands Prix under his belt, a man who's been through every kind of race scenario you can imagine. He wasn't guessing. He was reading the tyres, reading the track, feeling the car underneath him, and still he got overruled. After the race, Ferrari stuck to their usual line. In the debrief, they called it the optimal strategy. They said it was the right call based on the data they had. On the surface, it all sounded calm and professional. But if you watched Hamilton, his body language, his tone, you knew something wasn't sitting right. This is a driver who's used to having a say, to working with a team where the driver's voice carries real weight. At Mercedes, he helped shape not just the car, but the entire team's mindset. But Ferrari, it's different here. They operate by the book, safe, careful, following structure and protocols to the point where it can almost choke the life out of the racing instinct. And when a driver like Hamilton feels that, you can bet the frustration doesn't end when the race does. After the race, the cameras were rolling and the questions came fast. The journalists wanted answers. It didn't take long for someone to ask the obvious one. Lewis seemed frustrated with the strategy. Was there a miscommunication? All eyes turned to Fred Vasseur, Ferrari's team boss. Vasseur stayed calm. His words were careful, almost rehearsed. "We executed the plan we discussed pre-race. It was the correct call based on data," he explained. On the surface, it sounded reasonable, logical, everything by the book. But if you look closer, at his face, his eyes, you could tell there was more to the story. His expression wasn't as confident as his words. You didn't need to be a body language expert to see it. The truth was simple. Maybe the plan had been agreed before the race, but in that moment, during the heat of battle, the driver didn't feel heard. And when the driver is Lewis Hamilton, someone with experience, instincts, and expectations, that silence speaks louder than any radio message. And here's what Ferrari fans, and even rival teams, are quietly whispering now. This whole thing, it's not just about tyre wear or one pit stop. It's about something much bigger, a cultural clash that's been brewing from the moment Hamilton signed that Ferrari contract. Lewis Hamilton has always been about instinct, about adaptability, about reading the race in real time and adjusting on the fly. That's what's made him one of the greatest. But Ferrari, they've always been about process, about strict protocols, about control coming from the pit wall, not from the driver's seat. It's a system designed to avoid chaos, but sometimes it ends up suffocating the very drivers they rely on to win. And history doesn't lie. From Sebastian Vettel to Charles Leclerc, whenever the radio starts crackling with tension at Ferrari, things tend to fall apart. It's not the car that holds them back, it's the hesitation, the second guessing, the refusal to let the driver take the lead when it matters most. And now, with Hamilton at the wheel, that same old pattern is starting to show, only this time it might not be so easy to contain. The truth is, Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to just play along and quietly follow the plan. He came here to rewrite the playbook, to change how this team operates from the inside out. And it's already started. If you listen to the whispers coming from inside the paddock, you'll hear the same thing. There have been quiet meetings happening behind closed doors, talks between Hamilton, Fred Vasseur, Jerome D'Ambrosio, and key figures from the engineering department. The goal is simple. Hamilton is pushing for more driver influence in real-time strategy. He wants what he had at Mercedes, a system where the driver's voice isn't just heard, it shapes the race. And this isn't some PR stunt or media headline. This is real Formula One politics unfolding right in front of us. The only question now is, can Ferrari evolve fast enough to keep Hamilton satisfied? Because if they can't, that frustration we heard in Austria, it's only going to grow. And when a driver like Lewis Hamilton gets frustrated, history shows change is coming one way or another. And what about Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's golden boy, the loyal soldier who's carried the hopes of the team and its fans for years? He's been part of this system long enough to know exactly how it works and where the cracks are. He's seen the limitations, the missed opportunities, the frustrations that come from a team that sometimes refuses to let the driver lead. But now, with Hamilton in the picture, shaking the foundations of how Ferrari operates, you have to wonder, will Leclerc stay quiet? Or will he see this as his moment to speak up too? Because like every top driver, Leclerc wants to win. He's seen how other teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, give their drivers more freedom, more say. And deep down, he knows that sticking to the same old Ferrari script hasn't delivered the results he wants. The dynamic inside that garage is shifting, and it's happening fast. Hamilton's presence has already changed the atmosphere, and Leclerc might just be next to challenge the system. Austria was just the beginning. There are plenty more races to come, and with them, plenty more strategy calls that could make or break a weekend. And now, every time the Ferrari pit wall gives an order and Hamilton responds, the whole world will be listening. Ferrari is standing at a crossroads. They have a choice to make. Do they stick with their rigid, careful plans, the same structured approach that's been their trademark for years? Or do they take a risk and embrace the unpredictability that comes with having a champion like Hamilton behind the wheel? A driver who trusts his instincts, who reads the race as it unfolds, not just through data, but through pure racing feel. It's a tough call, a high-stakes balancing act that could define their entire season. And make no mistake, the clock is ticking. The longer this power struggle simmers, the harder it will be to keep control. And right now, Ferrari can't afford to get this wrong. Fred Vasseur can call it optimal strategy all day long. He can stand in front of the cameras, stick to the script, and insist everything is under control. But when Lewis Hamilton says, "I don't want to stop," he's not just talking about pit timing. He's questioning something much bigger. He's questioning the system, the way Ferrari operates, the way they make decisions, The way they win or the way they lose? The boss has given his response, sure, but the real answer, that's going to play out on the track, lap by lap, strategy call by strategy call, as this quiet power struggle inside Ferrari keeps growing. And one thing is clear, Lewis Hamilton is just getting started.